Hi, I'm Teresa and welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with the second part to my 2021 sapphic books I want to read video. So if you've not checked out the first one, definitely check it out now. So, although there are many a sapphic book due to come out next year, and even more that we don't know about yet, this will be the last part to this series, just because I don't want it to go on too long and I want to focus on the books I'm most excited about. But I'll be leaving a link to my friend's blog post down below, which has over 100 sapphic books releasing next year, and it's constantly updated, so definitely a link worth holding on to and checking out several times. And it's also full of indie books and small presses as well, and I'm not sure how many of them I've got because I only hear about some of the bigger ones. But with all that being said, let's start the video. So this video I've got one more than last time. I've got 16 because I just could not narrow it down, and just knowing that this is the last one, I didn't want to leave anyone out. So first up we've got Gear Breakers by Zoe Hanamakuta, and this book sounds really cool and fun. I think it's going to be a really good time. The official synopsis, I'm just going to go with the same format as I did last time and read the synopsis and give some of my thoughts. Two girls on opposite sides of a war discover they're fighting for a common purpose and falling for each other in Zoe Hanamakutas high-octane debut Gear Breakers, perfect for fans of Pacific Rim, Pierce Brown's Red Rising Saga, and Marie Lu's Legend series. We went past praying to the deities and started to build them instead. The shadow of Godolia's tyrannical rule is spreading, aided by their giant mechanized weapons known as wind-ups. War and oppression is an everyday constant for the people of the Badlands, who live under the thumb of their cruel Godolian overlords. Eris Shindane is a gearbreaker, a brash young rebel who specializes in taking down wind-ups from the inside. When one of her missions goes awry and she finds herself in a Godolian prison, Eris meets Sona Steelcrest, a cybernetically enhanced wind-up pilot. At first, Eris sees Sona as her most mortal enemy, but Sona has a secret. She's intentionally infiltrated the wind-up program to destroy Godolia from within. As the clock ticks down to their deadliest mission yet, a direct attack to end Godolia's reign once and for all, Eris and Sona go closer, as comrades, friends, and perhaps something more. So, this is a standalone, and as far as I'm aware, and it's a sci-fi, and it just sounds very, very cool. And the author said on Twitter, mechas and mecha sword fights and willa willa, and women-loving women pining disaster girls who like tattooing each other as a form of affection. Oh yes! The tattooing each other as a form of affection is what really got me, and of course just sapphics in general, because although this sounds very fun and interesting, I'm not entirely certain it's what I would normally pick up. But for these girls, I think I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna love it, and it's gonna be amazing. I can't find a publication date for this one yet. Next up, we've got Hani and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating by Adiba J. Girdar. So this is the author of the Henna Wars with another sapphic contemporary, and I'm very, very excited. I've still not read the Henna Wars because I'm a horrible person, but I will be picking up hopefully by the end of the year. But definitely before this book comes out in spring next year. So this has a very, very short description. It just has, in which a teen fakes a relationship with another girl to validate her bisexuality for her skeptical friends. Which sounds good, but not an awful lot, is it? And you never have to validate your sexuality. And I'm sure this book is going to give this message. But the author's Twitter gives a bit more details, and it says, it's about a Bangladeshi Bengali girl who has to prove her bisexuality to her friends, and an Indian Bengali girl who wants to impress her parents, and to do those things they have to fake date. And I am so excited, and the fake dating trope, it's getting some good use in 2021 with the sapphics, and I'm very excited for that. And I'm just sure this is going to be done so well. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to pick it up and adore it. Next up, we've got Maisie by Melanie Crowder, and it's supposed to be coming out on the 23rd of February next year. So this book sounds very, very interesting. I'm very much intrigued. An 18-year-old aspiring actress trades in starry Nebraska skies for the bright lights of 1950s Broadway in the show-stopping new novel from award-winning author Melanie Crowder. Maisie has dreamed of being on Broadway since she could walk. growing up in her small Nebraska town that always seemed like an impossible dream. But when Maisie's grandmother dies and leaves her a letter and enough money for a 6-week stay in New York City, Maisie jumps at the chance to follow her dream, leaving behind everything and everyone she's ever known. Of course, nothing can prepare Maisie for the loudness and chaos of the city. She's homesick for her family and the familiarity of her mama's cooking, and lovesick for Jesse, the boyfriend whose heart she broke when she left. But Maisie is determined to make her time in New York count. She's determined to succeed. With her money running out and faced with too many rejections to count, Maisie finally lands a role. But there's a catch. The tour is an industrial musical designed to sell farm equipment, bringing Maisie right back to the corn belt of her hometown she was all too eager to escape. Maisie is the story of a girl caught between two lives and two loves as she navigates who she is, what matters most, and the cost of following her dream. So this book sounds just really fun, 1950s Broadway. I love that setting, it just sounds like it's going to be really fun. And then you've got a sapphic main character, and it sounds like it could be a very good book. And just the cover, once again, 2021, the year for the sapphic covers. I'm sorry, this is sapphics only. Everyone else can go home. We have one. You do not need to bother. Next up, we've got The Dust Alphabet by Rebecca Podos. So this is a contemporary Jewish fantasy, and it's sapphic, and I'm very intrigued and I'm very excited for this. And so this hasn't got a proper synopsis yet, it's a deal announcement. Contemporary YA fantasy about identity, faith and fate. On her 17th birthday, Hannah is cursed by a shade, a Jewish demon, as the price for a desperate bargain that her mother made long ago. To break the spell, she and her brother must track down their mother's estranged family and discover a legacy they never dreamed of, one that traces back to the famous Golem of Prague. Sounds very interesting, and I love the Golem. I just love the story of the Golem. I don't know why, I find it very interesting, so I'm very intrigued by how it plays into this, and learning a bit more about the Jewish faith and such, because I can't think if I've read a book where the main character being Jewish is a big deal or has a big influence on the story like this, and I'm very interested to finally try one out, and the bonus of a sapphic main character definitely helps. Next up, we've got Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, and I am so excited for this one. And I have a couple friends who've already read copies of it and who have adored it, and it just made me even more excited for it. So, the big long synopsis. A refreshingly timely and relatable debut novel about a young woman whose life plans fall apart when she meets her wife. With her newly completed PhD in astronomy in hand, 28-year-old Grace Porter goes on a girls' trip to Vegas to celebrate. She's a straight A, work through the summer, certified high achiever. She's not the kind of person who goes to Vegas and gets drunkenly married to a woman whose name she doesn't know, until she does exactly that. This one moment of departure from her stern ex-military father's plans for her life has Grace wondering why she doesn't feel more fulfilled from completing her degree. Staggering under the weight of her father's expectations, a struggling job market, and feelings of burnout, Grace flees her home in Portland for a summer in New York with a wife she barely knows. In New York, she's able to ignore all the annoying questions about her future plans and falls hard for her creative and beautiful wife, Yuki Yamamoto. But when reality comes crashing in, Grace must face what she's been running from all along. The fears that make us human, the family scars that need to heal, and the longing for connection, especially when navigating the messiness of adulthood. So, this is an adult romance, but it's also got lots of deep stuff, and I'm very excited to pick this one up. This comes out on the 23rd of February, so not too long to wait now. And oh, it's going to be so good. I just love that sapphics are now getting to do all of the, the cliche tropes like accidentally marrying someone in Vegas, and doing them through big publishers and such as well. And it's just, and in case that big long description wasn't enough, we've got from the author's Twitter, looking through Honey Girl for editing purposes, and they really letting my book about lesbians of colour and queer femme fatale, the loneliness and connections with horror and monsters that comes with queerness be published, a black lesbian astronomer, on shelves. And yes, they are, and I am so ready, and I'm just excited to read this book so much. Next up, we've got A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee, which is due to come out this summer, and sapphic dark academia, gothic lesbian murder book. Do those not just want make you want to pick it up, or have I got really obscure taste? So it's only got a deal announcement so far. Pitched as The Secret History meets genuine fraud and the craft, it's the story of Felicity Morrow, a senior returning to school after her girlfriend's tragic death, only to meet a new student and teenage literary prodigy who transferred to research the school's bloody history and recruits Felicity into a murderous experiment of their own. That just sounds so fun. Like, I don't need any more than that. I just cannot wait to pick it up, and I hope it's going to be a bit scary. Just a little bit. I've been wanting to read Victoria Lee's books for a while, so I'm hopefully going to pick them up at some point. But I'm definitely picking up A Lesson in Vengeance when it comes out. Next up, we've got I Think I Love You by Ariane des Ombres, which was originally meant to come out this year but was delayed because of COVID. But I think it's going to be worth the wait. So this is a YA contemporary rom-com about two girls who start as rivals, but after a twist of events, end up falling for one another. At least they think so. Arch nemesis Emma, a die-hard romantic, and more practical-minded Sophia find themselves competing against one another for a coveted first prize trip to a film festival in Los Angeles. What happens if their rivalry turns into a romance? Full of laugh-out-loud humour and make-your-heart-melt moments. So, sapphics? Rivals to lovers? Just the kind of film setting, film school, film festival setting, and it just sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we can never complain about having too many sapphic rom-coms. So that's meant to be coming out on the 2nd of March. Next up we've got In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland, and the synopsis is a pansexual blood mage reluctantly teams up with an undead spirit to start a rebellion among the living and the dead in this dark YA fantasy. In Thanopolis, those gifted with magic are assigned undead spirits to guard them and control them. Ever since Rovin's father died trying to keep her from this fate, she's hidden her magic. But when she accidentally reveals her powers, she's bound to a spirit and thrust into a world of palace intrigue and deception. Desperate to escape, Rovin finds herself falling for two people she can't fully trust. Lydia, a beguiling rebellious princess, and Ivrylos, the handsome spirit with the ability to control Rovin, body and soul. Together they uncover a secret that will destroy Thanopolis. To save them all, Rovin will have to start a rebellion in both the mortal world and the underworld, and find a way to trust the princess and spirit battling for her heart, if she doesn't betray them first. It just sounds so good. And from what I can tell, this is a standalone, and in terms of rep, it is so gay. Oh my god, the cover has just appeared. Oh, it's so pretty. Since when has that been up? That wasn't up a second ago. Ho ho ho, that's pretty. Anyway, in terms of rep, the author said on Twitter, a blood mage who's pan, a lesbian love interest who is also a mage, an MB/Ace best friend, also a mage, and an MFF poly relationship. Love triangle ending in a poly relationship. Sold. Haha, this is gonna be so gay, and I'm so excited. It's so pretty. I hope this cover's actually up and I can find it again to put it in so you can all appreciate this with me, because I feel very alone right now. But oh my god. So that's supposed to be coming out on the 18th of May. Next up we've got Malice by Heather Walter. All you need to know, I'll give the synopsis in a second, but all you need to know, sapphic sleeping beauty. How exciting. Oh good lord, this is a long description. Brace yourselves. A princess isn't supposed to fall for an evil sorceress, but in this darkly magical retelling of Sleeping Beauty, true love is more than a simple fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a wicked fairy who, in an act of vengeance, cursed a line of princesses to die. A curse that could only be broken by true love's kiss. You've heard this before, haven't you? The handsome prince, the happily ever after. Utter nonsense. Let me tell you, no one in Briar actually cares about what happens to its princesses. Not the way they care about their jewels and elaborate parties and charm-granting elixirs. I thought I didn't care either, until I met her. Princess Aurora, the last heir to Briar's throne. Kind, gracious, the future queen her realm needs. One who isn't bothered that I am Alice, the Dark Grace, abhorred and feared for the mysterious dark magic that runs in my veins. Humiliated and shamed by the same nobles who pay me to bottle hexes and then brand me a monster, Aurora says I should be proud of my gifts, that she cares for me. even though it was a power like mine that was responsible for her curse. But with less than a year until that curse will kill her, any future I might see with Aurora is swiftly disintegrating, and she can't stand to kiss yet another insipid prince. I want to help her. If my power began her curse, perhaps it's what can lift it. Perhaps, together, we could forge a new world. Nonsense again, because we all know how the story ends, don't we? Aurora is the beautiful princess and I am the villain. Sapphic Sleeping Beauty from the point of view of the evil witch. Oh my god. This this retelling just sounds incredible. I cannot wait to pick this up and to just devour it. And this comes out on the 13th of April. Next up, we've got Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler. So the synopsis for this is Lara's had eyes for exactly one person throughout her 3 years of high school, Chase Harding. He's tall, strong, sweet, a football star, and frankly, stupid hot. Oh, and he's talking to her now, on purpose and everything. Maybe flirting even? No, wait, he's definitely flirting, which is pretty much the sum of everything Lara's wanted out of life. Except she's haunted by a memory of a confusing, romantic, strangely perfect summer spent with a girl named Jasmine. A memory that becomes a confusing, disorienting present when Jasmine herself walks through the front doors of the school to see Lara and Chase chatting up in front of the lockers. Lara has everything she ever wanted, a tight-knit group of friends, a job that borders on cool, and Chase, the boy for her literal dreams. But if she's finally got the guy, why can't she stop thinking about the girl? Cool for the Summer is a story of self-discovery and new love. It's about the things we want and the things we need. And it's about the people who will let us be who we are. So this is a Grease retelling with a bisexual love triangle, and I am sold. I am trash for love triangles, I cannot lie. And I'm just very excited to read this and see how it goes. So this is due out on the 11th of May. Next up, we've got Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan. This has only got a very short, teeny weeny synopsis. An openly gay track star falls for a closeted bisexual local beauty queen with a penchant for fixing up old cars. And I mean, I don't need any more than that. That's got me sold. That's got so much I'm excited for. We've got more sports gays, and I just love beauty queen characters, you know, like the popular in school, and I love when they're given depth like I imagine this is going to, and I'm so excited for that. And I just, whew, this book, can't wait. It's gonna be so very good. I've not got a date for that one, just sometime next year, but I'm sure again announcements and such will go up soon. Next up is The Lost Girls by Sonia Hartle, and listen, I'm very excited. When the vampire who turned Holly into the undead in 1987, leaving her as a 16-year-old with badly crimped hair for all eternity, breaks up with her, she's approached by two girls he also claimed to love, turned, then ditched. But their plan to kill him before he can strike again grows complicated when Holly starts to fall for the mortal girl they're trying to protect. So now, with this, we've got not one, but two sapphic vampire books coming out next year. We've also got The Coldest Touch, which I mentioned in my previous video, and very excited. Cannot wait. And I love how the scenes to have the girls teaming up against the bastard men who wronged them and taking them down. I love that. I just love it so much, and I hope it's got found family, because I am just trash for found family. And also, I'm not sure by that description, but is it set in like the 80s and 90s, or is this further in the future? Because I would not object to a vampire book set in the 80s or 90s. That'd not be so cool. So that one's also not got a date just quite yet, but I'm sure again will be up soon. Next up is Among Thieves by MJ Kuhn, and it's just got a teeny weeny description as well. Among Thieves, in which a team of criminals who are the best at what they do come together to pull off an impossible job, and against all odds start to care about each other, all while scheming to betray each other. So from the author's Twitter, this has got daring magical heists, sarcastic take no shit heroines, unlikely allies, intrigue and betrayal, and a slow burn FF romance. And oh, I'm just hoping for found family as well. How can you not? But with the drama and and the conflict, the internal conflict of planning to betray each other. Oh, it's going to be good. And once again, no publication date as of yet. Next up is Follow Your Arrow by Jessica Verdi. So the synopsis. This is a riveting and irresistible take on love, life, and identity, both online and off. Cece Ross is kind of a big deal. She and her girlfriend, Sylvie, are social media influencers with zillions of fans and followers, known for their cute outfits and being #relationship goals. So when Sylvie breaks up with her, Cece's devastated. She's lost her first love, and now she can't help but wonder if she'll lose her followers as well. Things get even messier when Cece meets Josh, a new boy in town who's very much not online. Cece isn't surprised to be falling for a guy, she's always known she's bi. And Josh is sweet and smart and has excellent taste in donuts. But he has no idea that Cece's internet famous, and Cece sort of wants to keep it that way. But when Cece's secrets catch up to her, she finds herself in the middle of an online storm, where she'll have to confront the blurriness of public versus private life, and figure out what it really means to speak her truth. I think this is going to be very, very interesting and deal with bisexuality and biphobia and also just social media and its influence on our life and on influencers. And I'm just very excited to read this. And also just the cover. Worth it for the cover. Once again, no publication date as of yet. And next we've got The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This is the first in an Indian-inspired high fantasy series, and I am very excited. It sounds very cool. Tasha Suri's The Jasmine Throne, beginning a new trilogy set in a world inspired by the history and epics of India, in which a captive princess and a maidservant in possession of forbidden magic become unlikely allies on a dark journey to save their empire from the princess's traitor brother. Imprisoned by her dictator brother, Malini spends her days in isolation on the Harana, an ancient temple that was once the source of the powerful magical deathless waters, but is now little more than a decaying ruin. Priya is a maidservant, one among several who make the treacherous journey to the top of Harana every night to clean Malini's chambers. She is happy to be an anonymous drudge so long as it keeps anyone from guessing the dangerous secret she hides. But when Malini accidentally bears witness to Priya's true nature, their destinies become irrevocably tangled. One is a vengeful princess seeking to depose her brother from his throne. The other is a priestess seeking to find her family. Together, they will change the fate of an empire. It sounds very, very good, and I'm very intrigued, and I'm sure the world's going to be just amazing. It sounds so good, and it's got an FF enemies to lovers romance, and the girls are vicious, morally grey lesbians. I'm seeing a lot of vicious, morally grey lesbians in this video, and yes, it is because I have a type. And the author said on Twitter what tropes the book has. Enemies to lovers, well, reluctant allies to lovers. It's all about the yearning TM. Wet sari scene, secret identities, tragic pasts, revenge, the imperialist patriarchy is bad actually, burn it all down. The enemy of my enemy is my girlfriend, and long lost siblings, and that just sounds very fun, and I cannot wait to pick this one up. Expected publication on the 29th of April next year. God, we've got so many books in spring next year. Oh, we're really just set for the year after spring, aren't we? And finally, we've got The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. Nora O'Malley is a lot of things. A sister, an ex, a secret girlfriend. Kind of crooked, but reformed. Somewhat. Nora O'Malley's been a lot of girls. As the daughter of a con artist who targets criminal men, she grew up her mother's protege. But when her mom fell for the mark instead of conning him, Nora pulled the ultimate con: escape. For 5 years she's been playing it normal, but she needs to dust off the skills she ditched because she has 3 problems. 1. Her ex walked in on her with a girlfriend. Even though they've all been inseparable for months, West didn't know about her and Iris. 2. The morning after, they all have to meet to deposit the fundraiser money they raised together. It's a nightmare that goes from awkward to deadly. Because 3. Right after they get in the bank, 2 guys start robbing it. But they have no idea who they're really holding hostage. The robbers are trouble, nor is something else entirely. So this is a thriller, and I've been wanting to read some of Tess Sharp's books, and it just sounds so good. I'm very excited to pick it up. And it's already been optioned for film, it's got an adaptation on the way, and Millie Bobby Brown is very, very heavily involved. I know she's acting in it, And did I also see somewhere that she's producing it? And that's gonna be so fun as well. And moral greyness once again. So yeah, this is set to come out on the 26th of January. So that's the end of the video. That's all the books I wanted to talk about. So just remember to check out Amber's blog post that I'll link down below for some more if you're needing any more. And I'll have Goodreads links to all of these as well down below so you can add them to your TBR easy peasy. And yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you in another video soon.